Hello and welcome to California Lockdown. This is day 5. Day 5 of the order for California to shelter at home. I call it a lockdown. A lot of people are calling it a lockdown. As you know, they've closed down all the places of gathering: theaters, bars, restaurants, movie theaters, any place that people gather, any type of business where people gather, anything that's not deemed essential, it's closed. And so this is pretty serious, as you know. I talked to my cousin in Michigan this morning on the live Facebook that I did, and she said that Michigan went into shelter in place last night at midnight. Of course, the big news today was New York. Governor Cuomo getting on television and pleading for more supplies, and New York's definitely been hard hit, as is California, where I'm at. So I'm here on the central coast of California, San Luis Obispo County. I'm going to go over some of the numbers in just a second, but just the main things I wanted to cover. I'm going to make this pretty quick. The Army Corps of Engineers was brought in by Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, as well as the National Guard was put in place. I don't believe that every single post and station has been activated, because I myself went over to our local new National Guard post, and I didn't know what I was going to expect, and so I didn't know what to expect. So I went there, and I actually was very quiet. Nothing was really going on. The parking lot was pretty empty. It looked like pretty normal. I looked around at some of the equipment. You know, they've got a lot of Jeeps and trucks and equipment, and nothing looked like it had been moved around or anything. So I thought, well, that's probably good, I believe, for now. Because people are starting to get pretty worried about this whole situation. When you start calling up the National Guard, that's when things get serious. So anyway, that was announced today by the governor. He also announced prison system transfers had all stopped. Any kind of prison transfer back and forth, court leave, visitations already stopped days ago, but any kind of transfer between prisons, and I think that between the prison and hospitals as well, the state hospitals, I think that's probably going to stop tomorrow, unless that was included with this order. In fact, it probably was. My wife is still working at the Tascadero State Hospital here, and so things are changing rapidly. It's getting pretty serious. So I'm not all doom and gloom here. I think this thing is it will resolve, and whether this curve is like this, or like this, or it flattens out and it's a long duration, we don't know. We don't know how it's going to go. Another thing that happened today by the governor was the beaches and trailheads, and so they closed several of the trailheads around here. We had some major parking areas for people, and I noticed they were getting full because all the college kids around here were all flocking to the trails because there was nothing else to do. And so apparently they shut down all the parking lots for those trailheads and beach parking lots, and I think that's really the only way that they can enforce it, is by closing the parking lots. So that's happening. Today is the 24th, by the way, so it's the 5th day of lockdown. Yeah, so beaches, trailheads closing. I drove around downtown San Luis Obispo yesterday. It was like a ghost town. There was nobody on the streets. It was very eerie. It was really eerie. It really was. So just looking at the worldometer, I don't know if you're already on the worldometer, it's pretty accurate. The numbers appear to be pretty in line with everybody else's numbers. So, and I could be proven wrong. I don't know. Maybe somebody could, if you say worldometer is junk, go ahead, let me know, because I want to know. But these numbers right now, so USA, 54,000 total cases, 11,000 new cases, total deaths, 775. What's our population? 350 million. 222 new deaths as of today. Now, let me click into, if you're not familiar with this website, I would suggest you go ahead and look at it. Now, it's kind of scary when you start looking at some of the graphs. Some of these graphs are skyrocketing right now, but a lot of them are projections, so just take it with a grain of salt, put it in perspective. Look at your local area. That's what you really need to be concerned about, is your local area, right? So USA. Going down to the USA, and then we go into the cities. And so looking at California, now in California we have 2,566 cases. We have 248 new cases. Total deaths in California as of today, on the 24th, we have 123 deaths, 123 fatalities from coronavirus, 13 new deaths today. And I see Michigan, they have 1,800 new, total cases. They have 24 fatalities in Michigan. And if you go down state by state by state, top to bottom, the least affected right now is West Virginia, which is surprising because right above that is Wyoming. They have, both of those states have no deaths at all. They only have, Wyoming has 30 cases. West Virginia, the least, has 20 cases total for the whole state. So, again, just putting all this in perspective, these numbers are going to be changing day to day, as you know. I don't need to tell you that. I watched the White House briefing today. It lasted, again, it was quite a while. These White House briefings, if you haven't watched one yet, I would. They're very interesting. You can get a lot of information from them. I think that's about all I'm going to cover today. Just that things are developing rapidly here in California. California's been hit pretty hard compared to a lot of states. In fact, on the world-o-meter here, New York, of course, is hardest hit. They have total cases of 26,000 cases. So they have basically 10 times higher than California. So we have a little over 2,500. We have 51 deaths. They have 271 deaths. So I can understand that both the governor and the mayor are both screaming, and I would be too. Gloves, masks, ventilators, all that. They need them now, right now. So that's where we're at. So that's kind of a wrap up. A lot of this you already know, but I'm just going to keep doing this. I'm a former hospital worker, retired. I was a unit supervisor at Atascadero State Hospital, and that is a kind of a different type of hospital. It's a psychiatric forensic for the criminally insane. So it's an interesting place to work. They get sick too, and so we're hoping that is a maximum security facility, just much like a prison. It's in between a prison and a hospital. It's right in the middle because it's all felons, all criminals with violent history. It's a pretty dangerous place to work. And so when sickness does run through there, which it's norovirus went through there a couple years ago, and it was awful. Everybody was really sick, and so it's very close quarters in there. So hopefully, with all the screening that's going on in place right now, they're screening all the employees with temperature and questionnaires before they even get inside every shift. And it is, of course, it's 7/24 round-the-clock shifts. So I'm just hoping it doesn't get inside there, and I'll keep everybody posted out here on the coast, central coast of California. Have a good evening. Till tomorrow.